Yo, GM, what's good, everybody? Gonna get this underway in just a moment. On this beautiful Monday evening, start to turn this down. There we go. Hey. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Rapture here on this Monday evening for the Daily Close Show. I know. It's been a few weeks. Rapture went a little bit MIA. And I do apologize for that. For anyone that's been riding with me for a while, you'll know that a year ago, I kind of like disappeared for a while, went off the map and stopped posting, stopped doing my live streams. It's kind of just disappeared for a little while. There's a bunch of things that took place IRL that just had me reevaluate some things in life and make some serious drastic changes, and I needed to reflect and look internally to figure out my path forward at that time. Well, it's been a year already. Hot damn, I can't believe it's been a year already. And it's been a year of ups and downs and ups in the personal space. But you know what helped me get through it all was process. I know I say that all the time, but process. As you can see right there on the show card that you see on your screen right now, process, patience, execution. I swear to God, lads, I tell you what, process fucking pulled me through. Process helped me get through when things were rough. Well, it's been a year now, and it's been a year since I had a moment where I hit rock bottom. I was at a pretty low spot in my life, in my personal life. And so just at this time of year, it was a little bit I had to deal with some demons. But we're back. I do apologize for those 2 weeks of hiatus. For anyone that's here joining me, if you're in the chat, can you just let me know how the mic volume is, and then I will get this going. Because that's enough talking about my IRL and my personal life. Although I do know people like hearing about things going on in people's lives. I try to be as open while still remaining private. I like my pseudonymity and my privacy, but that doesn't mean that I can't dig into my personal experience and relay stories about if you're ever going through a rough time, how you can get yourself out of that, and that you can find within yourself. You just got to dig deep inside of your soul and find what has meaning in your life and how to get the most out of it and get what you want. And if you focus your efforts through having a process, you can build something beautiful. You can build something great. You can find out who you really are and what you're really made of. And that's what life's all about, right? You go through different chapters. Sometimes you might be going through a rough patch. Other times you might be flying high, but it's about finding equilibrium and not going too deep down the bum end of it or too far off the high end. You got to find an even keel. You know what's been a big thing for me with that is taking long ass motherfucking walks. I'm talking like 2-hour walks. 2-hour just power walks. Power walks with a lot of sweat, a lot of reflection. Maybe sometimes you're listening to music. Maybe sometimes you're listening to a podcast. Maybe sometimes you're just alone, meditating with your thoughts while you're walking. And I've found that that helps me a lot. It helps me visualize and see angles that I may not be able to otherwise. Helps keep me in shape. That's a big thing. Anyways, we're going to move it along. Let me pull up. Let me switch screens here. There we go. It's your boy Rapture. Let me get rid of this. Follow at Night the Rapture on Twitter banner. But if you're not already, follow me on Twitter at Night the Rapture. I know I've been saying this for a little while, for a few weeks, for a month or so maybe. Content output's about to skyrocket. I got a whole bunch of shit that I've been working on. And different ways of being able to, you know, I've been doing these live sessions now for a while. And when you go back and review them, you don't realize, because when I'm talking to you guys, it's just off the cuff, right? I don't have a script. I don't predetermine what I'm going to talk about outside of the specifics, like high time frame levels. Maybe it's a weekly close show, so we might do the weekly macro dashboard, or we might look at high time frame SFPs. But in between that, that's just me just riffing, just talking. I don't have a script. So when I go back and review my old shows, I don't realize in the moment how much fucking banger one-liners and insights I drop. So it's about taking all that stuff and expanding upon it for you guys so that you can utilize it to get yourself ahead. I need to share my screen one moment. What should we start with, the outline or the BTC weekly chart? Let's start with the outline. Why the fuck not? Let's get rid of this. There's too many things going on this there. Like, subscribe, and comment, though, if you do enjoy or appreciate what we're doing. A little bit sloppy tonight. I got to pull it together. It's been 2 weeks. It's nice to say what's up. So what do we got here? Well, it's Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions, number 28. The daily close show. We're going to take a look at our high time frame levels. We're going to discuss a little bit of strategy for the days ahead. We'll take a look at BTC ETH and Sol, and we'll take a look at that weekly macro dashboard, since the weekly close was last night. Although I can't imagine it's saying much other than what it's been telling me for a while, which is probably just focus on BTC, but it may have rolled over on the USDT tether dominance. That'll be the interesting one to look at. We spoke about that the last session. And again, I apologize. It's been 2 weeks, guys. I'm sorry. I've dropped a few updates in the Telegram. And if you're not subscribed to the Telegram, it's a free Telegram channel. You can find the link for that in the description of this video if you're joining on YouTube, or from my bio on Twitter, Rapture's Tradebook. And if you're looking for a exchange to do your trading on, go check out the good folks over at BingX, bingx.com. Use code Rapture for those sign-up bonuses. Okay, let's move the fuck on and get into this. What do we got here? We got the BTC weekly chart. I gotta say, lads, this weekly bearish engulfing after a break outside of the inside week, back inside the inside week high, inside week range high. Let's zoom that in so you can see. All right, this was that inside week. We were watching that and we took it out and then had a short off of that. Well, then we closed through it. Took out this monthly level right here, this monthly level. Right? Let's take a look. Let's zoom out to monthly even, right? If you follow along in the Telegram, I said, hey, I don't know, this is looking kind of lower high-ish. This is looking like a lower high on monthly, right? Into this monthly level here that we've had mapped out. When do we have this mapped out? Ooh. For almost a year, because I would have mapped it out when we closed here. So May, since May of last year, we've had it mapped out. You know, these high time frame monthly levels, they're important on a very high time frame. We're not worried about them day to day unless we're interacting with one. Well, you know, there's a level there. And why do I think this is lower high territory? Well, as we pointed out back in February when we closed below this swing low here on monthly, BTC for the first time in its history on the USDT.P Perps chart on Binance made a monthly lower low close. Significant. And we said we're probably going to chop around here for a while, but eventually we'd be looking for a lower high. Well, here we are. I did want us to take out this level down here. We didn't quite get it. Maybe we're going to, you know, roll over and do it again. I don't know. I was looking for that way back then. Now I don't know. Now, you know, we're just going to take it level at a time. Well, we had that inside week, right? That was the inside week. We closed above it. Now we've closed right back inside. Now this is just looking like a giant deviation, right? Deviated above the range, back inside, probably going to underside retest, and who knows. But overall, now I'm not looking for a short here now, right? We had the short. Where was it? There. We had that outlined. Going back 11 days ago when you closed below here, right? And I shared that in the chat. I didn't share it in the last live stream, last live session, because it happened after the last one, and I do apologize. Well, you know how we're all about those high time frame levels. We came, retested into the H12 bearish breaker, H12 SFP. There's also a low time frame bearish breaker that took place there. Well, this failed. This was a long I was outlining yesterday, or over the weekend. That failed. Get rid of that. If we come in, zoom in here, I know this is hindsight quarterbacking, right? But I do like to show you guys what you should have been looking for a short trigger as you're taking out those high time frame levels. Well, there was your M15 bearish breaker. Close below, retest. Right? Those are the things we look for. But you know, I don't love doing the hindsight quarterbacking. So what are we doing now? Well, this deviation back inside that range, the inside week range, you don't love to see it. You really don't love to see it. What we're going to do though is we're going to update some levels. Do we have anything on weekly we can update? I mean, there is a weekly swing high. So one thing I see is we're retesting this weekly swing high here. That is, you know, one instance of, okay, let's hold on to a little bit of bullish. Let's reserve a little bit of bullish. And Zero Koku, what's good, my dude? What's up, Rap? He says. I say, what's good, dude? Been a minute. How are you, my friend? Thank you for being here. So the one thing saving this, keeping me from going full on like we're going to trade all the way back down here, is we are retesting this breakout level. It's already been tagged once, but often when you're forming a swing high, as we did here on weekly, you retest that area where it broke out from. Well, now we're doing that. So that's the one thing keeping this bullish to me. That retest right here. So let's zoom in actually and take a look. Okay, so this was the long that we were looking for, and we got it started to form here, and then it just failed. So we can delete this now. You know what? You can't bat 100. We can get damn near close and be prepared, but we're never going to bat 100. So it actually front ran that level. I don't love that. What that says to me is I would wait. I think this actually probably gets taken out. So we're not going to jump too far ahead there. Let's go back to daily now. Let's see what we can see levels wise on daily. So right off the bat, let's extend this across, because now we're, this bearish daily range, right? This is the swing high to swing low. This is still a daily bearish range that we've been in since beginning of the year. Well, we're internal range, and we've been doing all kinds of stuff. What we want to see now is, where do we go from here? Because this is looking, it's not great, but if there's going to be somewhere for a bounce to occur, it's going to be somewhere in here. So if we're going to start adding some levels, I think we can get rid of this one, but we bring it here. There's a daily level of interest. This one's still of interest. This one's of interest. There's 3 daily levels that we're interested in right now. These are also levels, but this is weekly. These are weekly, monthly back up here, but these are our daily levels of interest. This one as well. But this is going to be our primary range and zone that we're looking. Let's bring this down to H12 now. Okay, we can get rid of this. We can move this up to here. There's an H12 level of interest. We can get rid of this because we have a weekly level there that's of interest. Now let's see, did we make, so we did make an H12 lower low when we close below here, right? So we're moving up the time frames and getting more broken market structure. We haven't broken daily yet. All right, there was no swing low here that got closed through. We have on H12 when we close below there. So this box is now bye-bye. So I think what I am going to do is I'm going to bring this level back here because it is of importance, because it's the level we closed through. So we're going to leave that there. People may say, Rap, you got so many levels sometimes. Well, you know what? It's there for a purpose, because we don't know what level we're going to interact with. And we don't want to have to, when price gets somewhere, try and figure it out on the fly. We want to be prepared so that when or if and or when price arrives to a level and you start to get the interaction you're looking for a reversal, whether that's a bullish reversal or bearish reversal, a trend reversal for the turn, we're ready to respond and we're not having to figure it out in the moment. That's why we're all about pre-marking levels. Now, why do I keep this here? Because that's an H12 level that got closed through. This was an H12 swing low that you close below. And look, retest and boom. So we're going to keep that level there. We're also going to keep this level here. Do we keep this level here? I don't think so. I think we keep that daily level though. Yeah, we keep that daily level. The H12 one's gone. Now we're starting to clean stuff up a little bit, right? I know it's still a lot of levels. We got monthly, which is these girthy gray levels, these girthy motherfuckers. You know where I got that phrase from back in the day was, I don't follow him anymore, his content anymore. It was just a little bit too brash and confrontational. But back in the day, and actually I don't know if that's still the case. It could be different nowadays because it's been a while. But back 2001, 2022, Trader SC. I learned a lot from watching his live streams back in the day. But that phrase, a girthy motherfucker, he'd talk about those girthy thick lines. Well, I use girth for those monthly levels in gray. The thin gray lines are weekly. The girthy purple are daily range extremes for the market structure defining range. And then anything below daily or any internal levels, I'll use the thinner purple lines, and that blue cyan line is your market structure break level, just as a refresher for anyone curious. So there we are on H12. Ooh, there is a level right there, but we don't have a close yet. Too early to say. It depends on what this candle does, but we have a swing high and a swing low there. We're not going to do anything with that just yet. Ooh, you can see where that retested though. You can see where that retested. Well, and you know what? This was where the market structure broke on H12. That was the swing low, and then you got to close through it after there, and that was the retest level. I just don't like getting too many levels bunched up in here, but you know, that may become a valid level again. Look right here. I know it's a cluster. There's a lot of levels going on right here. All that tells you is this area right here, you're looking for interactions, and you probably get a high probability trade off of them. Let's go down to H4. Let's see what we see. Actually, one quick second. Let's switch this music up because we've been listening to it for a minute. Let's switch it up a little bit. A little bit more vibey. How's everybody doing today? It's Monday. Monday range is formed. So let's see. What do we see here? There's a lot going on here that we can clean up. Like, what was that? Is that just H4? Yeah, we can get rid of that. Get rid of that. There's a lot of levels going on here. But those are the same 1, 2, 3, 4 that we had from H12. Okay, so we'll leave that. What we can say now, though, is do we adjust that to there? No, I think we leave it. What we do have now, though, is this H4 level here. Is that a level of importance there? I don't think so. Oh, is that a low? Let's see. 78453, 78452. Nope. Okay, there's your H4 levels. I know it's a lot going on here, but we want to be ready to respond and react and not have to predict why one level or another. That's how we do here. We map them out, and then we lay in wait, and we let the alerts do the talking, right? We let those SFP alerts do the talking. I know. It's closed source, and I haven't, it's not like I sell the screener suite that I built. I'm working out something of how I can get that out to more people. Okay, well, there's BTC. There's our high time frame levels of interest. You know, on H4, is it like, let's just come back here to weekly real quick. Is this just a retest into here, or is this the deviation? Is this a monthly lower high into that monthly level? Kind of looks like it. I don't love it. 12 days remain in the month. If this starts to go red or purple, in my instance, if this starts to go negative on the month, this lower high, it's looking a lot more probable. Now, that doesn't mean that next month it can't swoop up again. You know, like you can see how swing highs look on monthly, right? You can see how swing highs look, right? Usually a 2 or 3 swing high or 2 or 3 spikes high for a swing high. Same for lows, right? 1, 2, 3, 1. Well, this one was just 1, which is why this is different, right? This is unusual for a low, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Like this was unique. This is all textbook, 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 textbook. This was unique for a swing low, especially after it broke that low. Okay, well, these are your H4 levels. I will share these in the chat either later tonight or tomorrow. Let's move it along. Let's move it along, shall we? Let's take a look at ETH, see what's going on here. I mean, look at this, right? Level we've had mapped out now for years on ETH. Look at exactly where it's capping. Full capping. That's why it's good to zoom out. That's why monthly levels are so useful when or if price gets to them. It gives you a lot of information, right? That's a 2021 level. Weekly, I mean, look at that. We took out that inside week high, SFP'd, swept, 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 boom. We're now into a monthly level here, and you can see where it's capped prices to the downside. But what do we have here now? So this daily bearish breaker that we outlined almost a month ago, guys. Lads, we've had this mapped out for almost a month, and look at how much trades were off of those levels. Hey, I may have been a little bit MIA for 2 weeks, but the boy is precise, right? Gave you this breaker and all these levels a month ago. Well, this is now no longer valid because we closed through it. All right. So now we can start cleaning up some levels. What do we see here? What do we see here? We can get rid of this. Where do we bring this to, though? Where's our swing high reference on daily? It's all the way up there. Okay, what was the one thing we did before? Let's just extend this across. Extend that across. Extend that across. So we can see what we're working with here. Okay, well, that weekly level, obviously important. Let's switch this back to weekly for a second. That's a good extension. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so there's some daily levels. Is this still relevant? It might be. There's our daily levels. We're just doing the same thing that we did with BTC. Now we're mapping out our daily levels. Now we're going on to H12. So H12, we start to get some definition. We can start to see a few more things, right? We can see here, we have a swing high on H12. I think we can bring this down here. There we go. There's your H12 swing high. So interesting right here. We just put in an H12 SFP after sweeping this monthly level on ETH. That's not a bad little area for trying to find at least a local bottom. Local meaning, you know, the market these days, even though we did, like, there was a good advance here, right? This was a good day, multiple days. This is very distributive. Well, you know, I would view things still, even though there was a bit of a rally for a while, I still view things very short term. I try not to plan out more or much beyond intraday. What I want to know. Okay, those are my 3 daily. H12, H12, daily, daily, daily. Okay. So this is kind of interesting to me here. H12 SFP swept a monthly level, a very long-term monthly level. Let's clean this up. You know what? The nice thing about taking a little bit of time off is when you get back to your chart and you're able to clean things up. You know what I'm gonna have to do soon? Not today, because I don't want to go back and waste anybody's time. We'll have to do a complete chart refresh, like clean the whole thing off and start from ground zero. We haven't done one of those in a while, so we'll have to bring one of those back. So, okay. So what do I see here? We have the makings of an H4 bullish breaker. It's nowhere near confirmed, so don't get your panties wet just yet. But if H4 closes above this box, closes above here, you have a bullish H4 breaker. Now we can go down a lower time frame to see what we got. Yeah, it's the same level for H1, so I wouldn't get too excited here. Where is it? Is that a... Ooh, okay. 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 You actually have an H1 bullish breaker confirmed here. Why is it confirmed? Well, this was the swing high that created the SFP. This is the lower time frame, H1, swing high that created the H12 SFP. Closed above it, confirming the market structure break and the breaker. So now, a retest into here. This is the classic H12, H1 setup, right? Shout out Trader Man. This is the classic H12, H1. H12 SFP, H1 bullish breaker, confirmed. A retest into here. You're looking for longs. Let's see about M15. So M15, well, obviously, since the H1 confirmed it, M15 also confirmed it. It's a little bit tighter. It hasn't retested it, though. I would leave the H1. I wouldn't zoom in any tighter than that. You know, I wouldn't be trying to long here. Why do I say that? Well, first of all, you're halfway between where the H1 bullish breaker confirmed and where the H4 bullish breaker would confirm. But you could also just SFP this on H4 and then boom, right? So and there's another thing that I also see. You know, we're going to inception this. Well, this is an M15 bearish breaker. Why is that? You got an M15 SFP here. This is the swing low that created that wick of the SFP. Close below, retest, boom. There's your bearish breaker, right? I know I said that a little bit fast, but if you've been with me for long enough, you'll understand what the setups that I look for. Now, M15 is lower quality than the H1 or the H4. And as I said, I'm looking for a retest into this H1 bullish breaker, excuse me, not bearish, into this H1 bullish breaker on ETH. But I would not take the trade here because the probability of this coming up into here and then just bringing us down into here before finding the lower high or the higher low, excuse me, is pretty high. So let's get rid of that. Do you know what? We'll leave that. We're going to come back and look at ETH in a little bit, right? Because that's all of our levels mapped. Let's put this specific to M15. Let's put this specific to M15. All right, we can go back to hourly. Now you're putting in an H1 SFP here. You already put an H1 SFP there, right? Like this is definition of chop. So you either get that right, retest into there, and then take your long, or you wait for the H4 bullish breaker to confirm, retest, bid, long, right? So we'll come back to this one. We'll come back to ETH. I do like this. This has more of a long setup for me at the moment than BTC because BTC, like I said, front ran that weekly level. So it didn't take out anything on a high time frame. There's nothing that it did here that excites me. I think if this is going to do it, it's going to give you one more sweep down, or you get an H4 swing low that forms somewhere in here a few candles from now, and then it SFPs that and take it out. Right? That's the difference between BTC and ETH for me right now that I can see. Oh, I got a bug flying around me. Give me a second, lads. I got to go top up my green tea. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, lads. I am back. Let's get off BTC. We did BTC already. We got ETH rocking here. Let's take a look at Solana. Now, what's wild is there was a good rally on Solana that happened after the BTC rally, right? Like, look, that was a good rally, but look at that. That's just gnarly. That's just fucking gnarly. Okay. Let's zoom right out. I mean, look at what we're dealing with here, right? That's why you got to zoom out. That's why it's high time frame levels, high time frame levels, high time frame levels. Mark out your high time frame levels and zoom out. Whenever you sit at your desk and you're looking at a level and you're like, is there a trade here? Zoom out first, because it's gonna give you some data sets, right? Like, a lot of people were here likely saying, shit, Solana's looking bullish AF, wants to break out. Look at this daily situation happening here. Look at this, right? But then you zoom out and you're like, oh, we're into a monthly level. After printing lower low on monthly, like, structure is broken on monthly. There's no sugarcoating it. Now we can look at weekly. So this level, clearly not relevant. Oh, but you know what I do see there? Look at what happened there. We had a weekly SFP into that. We can get rid of this. Not relevant anymore. We had a weekly SFP, and lads, I do apologize that I have not been completely dialed for the last couple of weeks. That's changing. Rap's back. Dealt with that IRL stuff that I needed to refocus my efforts. Well, and yes, this is the definition of hindsight quarterbacking, which I fucking hate. But you know, you took out that monthly level, you did a weekly SFP into it. What we can do is we can bring a weekly level down to here, because this is going to be important. All right, let's just extend these out. So when you're getting up there, right, and you're taking out weekly levels and monthly levels, what's that other weekly level? Oh, it's a weekly range quarter. Weekly inside week range quarter into a weekly SFP. I mean, that's why we draw these high time frame levels, right? It's just to stack your confluence. Let's extend this across like we did with the others. Extend these across as our primary trading range, daily primary trading range. Extend across the market structure break level. There we go. Now there's a lot going on here that we need to clean up. Boom, buy. Did that come back around? Oh, it did. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, you get intraday trades off of all these levels, but we got to clean this up. This is muddy waters. This is some muddy waters. So what do we see here? Right, you're sweeping this level here that was relevant before. I think if it takes out this level again, though, it's going to come all the way down here. So I think what we can do is we can say, okay, we've got a daily level there, and it's sweeping that level. This is more relevant about the weekly level, so we can probably say ciao to that. Let's extend these across. I mean, yeah, I would still view those levels as important. This is a weekly level, more important than the daily. Is this one going to remain relevant or important? I mean, a lot more levels to work off of here on Solana than we had on BTC, right? ETH daily, fewer levels. BTC daily, fewer levels. Now we're here on Solana. We've got a bunch of levels, right? What I can say is we can bring this up here as well. There's your Solana daily levels. Let's check out H12. So we had that bearish H12 breaker, but it is no longer in play. These gone. Okay, so we start to get granular, and we can see here why this weekly level here is important, right? And we can start to say to ourselves, okay, what do we want to see down in here? What do we want to see down in here? Well, I see this. So there's our H12 level of relevance. Interesting that I see right off the bat here, unlike ETH, which did a SFP off that level, this swing low, Sol did not, but it did sweep this level. So we have a level to try and frame a trade around. These are your levels of relevance. So on H12, let's go to H4. What do we got on H4? Let's tidy this up. Some old levels. Old levels rocking. Old levels rocking. Wow. We got some old levels rocking. Did we hold on to that level through daily? Yes, we did. H12, hold on to that one. Now we're on H4. Ooh, okay. What does Rap see right now? What do I see right now? Well, I do see, oops, I do see this. Come on, come on. There we go. You're putting an H4 SFP right there. A bearish one. That's not great. But maybe that sends us to actually take out this low, right? So let's frame both sides of the trade here, because like I said, you're putting in sweeps of this daily level, right? You're sweeping this daily level. I like to look for both sides of it, right? Well, what you don't want to see is confirming an H1 bearish breaker off of that H4 SFP. Candle closes in just under 7 minutes. I mean, it's not ideal for it, but it can still get back above that. Right? What I'd be looking for the bull case for failed M15. What I would be looking for the bull case here. This is the swing low that created that sweep. Excuse me, apologies for that. You're saying to yourself, this is my bull case, but look at that where it aligns with that bearish H1 breaker. That's looking likely to confirm. This is a tough spot. This is a tough spot because you got conflicting signal there, and you guys know that I do not love when it's not so clear like that. I prefer to trade a chart that is a little bit cleaner. What I can say, this level here is a sweep, but not an SFP liquidity sweep, right? Or did it take out that? No, it didn't. So what you want to see is actually, if this is going to be a liquidity type reversal, that you get a deeper stab through this level now and not just this sweep. What's the difference between an SFP and a sweep? What is the difference between an SFP and a sweep? Well, it's really simple, and it's not anything to get to overcomplicate in your mind. A sweep is just a historical high time frame level that price comes. It's very similar to an SFP, but it comes and takes at the level, sweeps it, closes back above, but you're not actually taking out a swing level. Yes, it was a swing level at one point, but it's not an untapped swing level. So an SFP or a swing failure pattern is when you're, like it's saying, you're coming to a swing level. Like this would be a swing level, right? See how it front ran that? This is what it would be, right? Untapped swing level. You get a swing fail, meaning you violate the level, then close back above, in this case, if it's a bullish SFP, or close below in a bearish SFP, right? Like the opposite would be sweeping that swing high and closing back within, right? So that's the difference between a sweep and an SFP. They can be played very similarly. I put a little bit stronger weighting towards an actual SFP over a sweep, unless it's a monthly level. I'm all about SFPs. I'm the goddamn SFP guy, right? So because this is just a daily sweep and we didn't actually SFP, and now we have a fresh swing low here on daily, I would actually be looking for that SFP to take place. So the question that I was trying to, or the thing that I was trying to answer was, what do I put more weighting in here? What has a higher weighting? Well, because we did an SFP a level down here, and we're putting in this H4 SFP, and it's looking likely that this H1 bearish breaker is about to confirm. I mean, you can see we're drooping. We got a clinger, right? Just a droopy poop going on right here. I don't really love this M15 bullish breaker. I'm not saying that it can, and on top of that, this is a market structure shift, not a market structure break. The market structure break level is here. This is an internal market structure shift, right? Swing low, creating the wick of the SFP. It's the first swing level, swing high. After that, when the market structure break level is too far away to make an actionable trade, well, then you take the first swing level, swing high, which is right there, which created that M15 market structure shift style breaker. There can be a long here. I'm not saying there's not going to be. I'm just saying that I put a little bit more weighting into this H4, H1 situation. So I'm going to delete this breaker, to be honest. Even though we've traveled so far, right? But this, I mean, this is horrible looking. That looks like a Solana shitter that got rugged. I actually want to see a proper SFP down here, not just a sweep. So I put higher weighting towards the H4 SFP forming and this H1 bearish breaker that is about to confirm in a minute and a half. Right? Why is this an H4 and H1 bearish breaker? Well, this is the swing low of the lower time frame, H1, that creates the wick of the higher time frame, H4 SFP. You close below that. That's what we call trapped traders. And a liquidity sweep. And that's why we look at those, right? So to me, this short, like if you get a retest into here after this closes, you can short that down to here and then look for a sweep for an SFP down here to take place for more of a long position if that's what you're looking for. That's what I gotta say about that. What was the other one we were looking at? We were looking at ETH. Oh. Right? Close below, retest, right? You know, it's a very specific set of things that I look for. And it's very simple. It's not a complicated, hard strategy, but it does require patience and time and effort to understand what it is that I look for. Well, we can see. Well, I said I wouldn't want a long ETH here because you put in that lower time frame bearish breaker. So you're looking for H1 retest into there. Analysis stands. That's what I outlined. So the H1 bearish breaker on Solana confirmed. H4 SFP still has a ways to go. Oh my goodness, lads, I'm getting bit up by a bug in here. Getting bit up. And I am not appreciating it. Where is this little fucker? Ugh. I don't see him. This guy's just dying on my feet, drawing blood. Sorry, I don't mean to get graphic on you, but oh, what a little fucker! I keep oh, is that it there? Oh, I just got him. I got him, lads, and it's pretty gnarly because when I smacked him A bunch of blood just splattered everywhere. All my blood. Give me 1 second. I gotta clean that shit up. What a little fucker. Dude thought he caught the payload feasting on my blood. Little did he know, Rap was gonna get him. Rap is gonna get him. You know, that precision, that process, that patience, that execution. Oh my God. It's that phrase knows no bounds. Zero Koku, Rap the bug hunter. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. Okay, so that's what I see. Right? BTC. I don't have a trade here right now. And you know how I outlined that M15 bearish internal setup on ETH. Well, here's an H1 bearish internal, right? This is a low time frame. It's not a high time frame, low time frame. Yeah, exactly, my dude. Whoa, look at this fucker. Schmoof. Got him. Dude was having the time of his life. He just feasted on my blood. Sometimes we get these gnarly mosquitoes where I'm at. But I got this one. You know what? Gave him a little taste, lured him in. Use myself as a bait. That was the end of him. So just like on ETH. Sorry guys, let's get back into this. Oh, we also, just like it had that M15, right? On ETH, the M15, it's also now an H1 bearish breaker. So, you know, take that for what it is. Right? H1 SFP, close below the swing low that created the wick of the SFP. There you go. So, but I'm not discrediting this long here on ETH. I'm not saying blind bid this, to be honest. I'd look for, you know, what just took place here, this M15 bearish setup. I'd look for something similar down here, just inverse that. Right? What would that look like? Let's just set up a hypothetical here. Say you have a swing low set. And then, so let's say you set a swing low, right? You get some price action like this, and then you sweep, reverse, retest, right? And that setup would be this. This is that. This would be that. This is that. Right? This is that level right there. This is the SFP, this is the breaker off of it, right? That's what I would just look for. That's the inverse of that. And if you don't quite know what the hell I'm talking about, well, you got a little bit of studying to do. But don't you worry, Rap's got you. I will be upping my output. I'm back. I'm getting dialed back. I'm back. You know what? We're gonna leave this. We're gonna leave this here. for shits and giggles. We'll come back to this. You know, I'll claim some clout in the Telegram if it plays out as we do. But we're gonna leave that. So just as a training, right? If you're sitting there and you're watching this stream or you're watching the replay, screenshot this right here, screenshot this and understand what the hell I'm showing you here. Because this is low time frame execution 101. Right? And it's the inception too, right? Because we took out an H12 level, we got an H1 bullish breaker. Well, then we'd be looking for that inception setup, some sort of M15 or M5 bullish SFP confirmed bullish breaker. That's what we'll be looking for. That's what we're doing here, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is your high time frame levels across BTC, ETH, and Sol. Oh, you're getting some follow through off this one, aren't you? Look, even after the M15 confirmed, retested into it, boom, right? Well, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. SPX, I mean, god damn, look at this thing. That is an insane chart. You know, I keep moving this range quarters level and it keeps moving. So there we go. What can I notice about this? I mean, it's just been an insane chart. You could say, oh, is it starting to go more sideways? Well, it did that here, and then it just poof, went again. I don't know. You should just have longed the SPX and logged off. I mean, what do we have here? You got H4 SFP right there. But then you had a sweep into the MSB level, right? You're just ping-ponging. That's all it is, right? Just mark out your high time frame levels. It works on any damn chart you please. The one thing we did notice, oh, look at that. This was your H4 SFP, M15 bullish breaker, confirmed it, retested, boom, right? You know, even for something like intraday trading, something like SPX, right? Look at that. You got 2 to 1. You got 2 to 1 off of that. You got 2 to 1 off of that. You probably even got 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. 2.75, almost 3%. Or 3, not 3%. R to R of 3. But if you just taking these as intraday scalps, right, as you, especially for something we're trying to get reps in, look at that. You got your 2 to 1, no problem. And that 2 to 1 took place between 2 to 15 in 45 minutes, right? Just mark out your high time frame levels, guys. I say it all the time. Just mark out your high time frame levels. What does that mean? That means from H4 and above, you got your monthly close levels, your important monthly close levels. Occasionally a monthly swing. I look more at the close levels, unless it's for a structure defining level where you break structure. For weekly, you mark out your range, swing high to swing low. You mark out your key weekly levels, your range quarters, your inside week if you're playing with one of those. And then you go to daily, mark out your daily range, high and low, your structure defining range, as well as your key internal daily levels, H12, H4, and then you just sit back and have fucking patience and wait for price to come to you and see if it's going to give you something that you're looking for. Right? Like, well, let's take a look at what took place there. Was there anything interesting that took place off at that level? I mean, well, there it is right there. There's your M15 bearish breaker. M15 bearish breaker off of that sweep, retests into it, gives you multiple M15 sweeps, SFPs, into the bearish breaker, there's your setup, right? It's not rocket science. You just got to know what to look out for. Where are we at? How are we doing timing-wise? Ooh, we're already over an hour. Okay, let's pop over to here. Let's bring this back up. So we looked at our high time frame levels. We discussed strategy for the days ahead. We looked at BTC, ETH, and Solana. You know what we haven't done? We haven't looked at the weekly macro dashboard. I'm not going to do any high time frame SFPs today. I feel like I want to start doing those in shorter little quick episodes, whether those are pre-records or if I just hop on real quick. I got to figure that out because it's too much to have it in one of these episodes. We were focused on our high time frame levels. Well, let's switch back over to here. Save this. We're going to come over here. Here is our weekly macro dashboard. So what do we see? BTCD. I really wanted to see it take that level out, but what do we have now? Now we have, bring that across. It's probably going to become relevant. Now we have a weekly swing high for BTCD. Interesting that BTCD's rolling over. Have alts been doing okay? I honestly couldn't tell you because I have not been looking at alts at all. I have not been looking at alts at all. Sorry, excuse me. I'm just getting a... Okay. We'll take a look at the total ES BTC chart to get an idea if alts have been doing well. I did see something on the timeline about Hype putting in like local highs recently. Like fresh local highs. Maybe that's one alt chart we'll look at. But I do want to wrap this up because we're at an hour. We're over an hour already. I don't like wasting your guys' time. So I think BTCD can still push up once more because there's some untapped levels here. I wanted to see it take out this level and it didn't yet. And now we have a fresh swing high on weekly. Total ES is stabilized a bit. Where's the swing low? But the swing low took place last week. Right, just at the close. So we can't really do anything with that yet. It looks as though, look, alts did put in a decent, you know what's funny is here with the last live session, and I said, I don't love alts at all. Well, you had a rally, and they're bound to put in local lows at some point, right? Because it was an extended sell-off. One thing I can see, if we're going to do those weekly range quarters, right? Took out the low of an inside week. Maybe it's going to trade back up there, but I still really wouldn't fuck with alts so much. I'm gonna have to take another session and clean this up because it's getting a little bit muddy, but you know, I don't see the appeal for alts right now. Ooh, okay. USDT tether dominance. Inside week low, took it out, swept it into an area of demand, weekly fair value gap. That's where that rally, or sorry, this is where the sell-off from BTC took place. Now we're into some supply. So maybe, you know, BTC is going to see some relief here, or the market's going to see some relief here, right? But this USDTD, when it's going down, means capital is flowing into the coins. When it's going up, it means capital is flowing out of the coins. That's what we can see here, right? We're sweeping a range quarter, so maybe this rolls over from here and BTC can get a little bit of relief from where it is, which would line up with me looking for that swing low to get taken out on BTC before a relief rally. Only alt not dead is hype. That's kind of the gist that I feel. That or like the privacy coins, right? Okay. I know I'm kind of blazing through the weekly macro dashboard here. It's just because I want to get a gist and send you guys on your way. I think this level can now be moved. Put that up in there. Okay, that's what I see. ETH BTC just continued to look like shit. Took out a level. Now it's below it. It's got a bottom at some point, but do you want to be playing this game? Or do you want to be playing this game again? Like, where's the? This just looks like a smaller blip of that, right? Like, whoosh, 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 right? I don't know that I want to be playing the where does ETH bottom game, especially when it's trading like quite awful, to be honest. And Sol BTC, you know, it came up. Look at exactly where it came up and swept that level that we had marked out. Took it out, as well as some range quarters. This actually looks more constructive though than ETH BTC. I don't know. I think we're at a point of the market where you just kind of, if a chart is giving you a high time frame level getting taken out, not a macro chart, because the macro is kind of muddy right now. You got to be in sync with the asset you're trading. You got to have intimate carnal knowledge of that asset you're trading. Focus on that chart day in, day out. Understand its nuances. And right now, the Solana chart is more important, I think, than picking where to focus attention, just based off of what I'm looking at the macro dashboard right now. Right? Because this looked like, oh, lost a range. Did it reclaim? No, we lost the range again. After taking out, you know, this was okay. So I just said what I said about the macro not being as clear, but then I'm gonna just take that right back, because when Solana had its run the other week, and it took out and did a weekly SFP on the Solana chart, not the Sol BTC chart, the Solana actual chart, a weekly SFP. Look at what it was doing on the Sol BTC chart too. This was telling you, hey, Solana just outperformed for a while. Solana itself just put in a weekly SFP, and the Sol BTC chart just, you know, these are things that you use to align things, confluence in your favor. I know it's a lot to monitor, it's a lot to stay on top of. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that I can feed the way I analyze these things into AI so I can stay on top of these things ahead of time, so that I just have to go, oh, go take a look at that chart, rather than having to do it manually. It sort of just like says, hey, maybe go look at that chart right now, and then I can go, and then I would see. A lot easier. It's easier to keep you guys up to date that way. Sol ETH, I mean, yeah, Sol outperformed ETH and BTC for a bit. Now we're up into the supply. This is just going to bleed down again. I don't know. The macro dashboard is a little bit difficult to read right now, because I think BTCD probably pushes up one more time to give an actual level takeout. ETH BTC, yeah, it's going to bottom at some point, but when? Sol BTC, it's not great that it reclaimed and then lost it right away, that range. Maybe we get one more little push up on tether dominance this week, meaning that a little bit more capital flows out of coins, takes out that level, and then we see this bleed off again, and then we could see a rally or relief. Maybe that happens even tomorrow. You never know, right? Sol ETH looks like it wants to retrace though. Sol BTC, I don't love the way it's sitting. This is kind of interesting. This altcoin barometer here, the total ES, is kind of interesting. But as Zero Coco just pointed out, the only alt not dead is hype. That's generally the gist that I have, even being away from the market. That's what I would have thought. Okay, well, I think before you want to start making any plans coin-wise, you want to see this USDT level, this tether dominance level, get taken out, I think. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe this comes down a bit more, and then BTC can have a rally up into here. But that's not me saying that all of a sudden we're going to have a full-on bull market. That's just me saying you're going to get that BTC relief and coin relief. We're going to do one last thing. We're going to check on the hype chart. What's this? XPL. I still haven't cleared this off. Like this is how not locked in I have been. It's time to clean this up. I'll do that this week. Let's take a look at the hype chart. Yeah, I mean, that's a good looking chart. That is a damn good looking chart. It did SFP last week, but now we're trading above it, right? It's hard to go against what's looking good. What we will say is, yes, last week he closed as an SFP on the weekly, but we're above it now. So that SFP is negated. Doesn't mean it can't do it again, but now this looks like the target for hype. So I wouldn't really fight this. If you're looking for a long, where would you do that? Where would you do it? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that this is what you want to hold. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. What I think that you want to see happen on hype, if you're looking for the next, so many levels here we gotta clean up. Gotta clean up this hype chart. What I think you're looking for is an ideal long for hype. If you're trying to catch the next wave, pull back into here, SFP this level into this daily demand, right? Order block style demand, SFP that level. You know, it's also an H4 level. Look at all this stuff. Gotta clean this up. SFP down into here. Look for the low time frame interaction to tell you it's a long, and then get on board. So what is that? That's 44 and change. You're looking for it to do a pullback into 44. I mean, maybe it does it off of one of these levels. You can't predict. You just gotta respond to what you're getting. So these are the levels that I'd be monitoring. Okay, lads. Yeah, something that looks like something into here. Could be here. Could be here. Right? Could be somewhere there. Could be here. Right? It's something here. You're looking for a long somewhere in there. All right, lads. Well, I want to thank you all, everyone that has joined, for another Rapture Scalp and Swing Sessions, number 28, the Daily Close Show. Live perps trading and analysis, where we are all about that process, patience, and execution. We took a look at our high time frame levels and discussed strategy for the days ahead and the week ahead across BTC, ETH, and SOL. We looked at the weekly macro dashboard, which is saying to me, maybe we get one more little push up on tether dominance before we get some relief on coins. I'm seeing some setups start to form, but we're in a bit of a conflicting spot. Yes, we've had days of sustained sell-off. Doesn't mean that sell-off can't continue. The charts are a little bit muddy, but tell me whether it's a long or a short. We outlined what we'd be looking for in either scenario, right? We've got our high time frame levels mapped, and we looked at hype. A bullish looking chart. Don't forget, if you're looking for an exchange, jump on over to bingx.com, use code Rapture to get yourself those sign up bonuses. And let's not forget this stuff. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoy what I'm doing. It helps support the growth of this show. And there is growth coming. There is more coming. Don't forget to follow me at Night the Rapture on Twitter. And on that, lads, I bid you good evening.